You clearly only need to be slain by others to grow stronger, yet you transmigrated as the founding patriarch of the most powerful sect. Although you possess only a pathetic foundation establishment cultivation, the mere mention of your name is enough to send your enemies fleeing in terror. Yet you know all too well that this facade of overwhelming power is not to be trusted. To trigger your ability as early as possible, you sealed yourself away in a forbidden zone for 10,000 years. Unexpectedly, while you were in deep seclusion, many rival sects heard the news and began to ruthlessly suppress the Qingyun sect. 10,000 years later, just as the sect stood on the brink of total annihilation, a young woman arrived at the foot of the mountain and kowtowed repeatedly. She begged for the Patriarch to emerge from seclusion and safeguard the legacy of the Qingyun sect. She harbored little hope, but when your languid voice echoed from the Forbidden Gate, she knew the experts of the Chixiao Sword sect were as good as dead. Even though she could sense no aura of cultivation from you, Lin Wenyi remained absolutely certain. You had surely reached the realm of returning to simplicity, your true strength unfathomable. Witnessing your arrival, the sect master of the Chixiao Sword sect, who had been stirring up trouble, felt a chill run through his heart. Though the prestige of the Qingyun sect had long been eroded by time, facing this sudden, mysterious existence, he knew that caution was the only path to survival. Thus, in the next moment, he performed an action that left everyone stunned. He bowed respectfully toward you. Chixiao Sword Sect's Chixiao Yun asks for the senior's name, but your next words left him frozen in place. This seat is the Juxiao Zhenren. Just as you finished speaking, Chixiao Yun's expression shifted violently. Because he had once heard from his elders that 10,000 years ago, there existed a legendary figure known as Juxiao Zhenren, a man who single-handedly suppressed the entire Tianan region. Even seeing you standing there, covered in the tattered robes of an ancient era, he was already contemplating a retreat. Senior, today's events were merely a misunderstanding. My Chixiao Sword sect is willing to offer reparations. He thought you would gladly accept the proposal of a junior, but you spoke bluntly. Don't say I didn't give you a chance. Sever the arms of your men now and cripple half of your own cultivation. As those words fell, Chixiao Yun stood stunned, yet after only a second of internal struggle, he did not hesitate to hack off the arms of his own subordinates. Seeing this, Lin Wenyi felt a surge of awe. Truly the most powerful patriarch, a single word is enough to force them into self-slaughter. Having finished the task, Chixiao Yun bowed his head once more. Senior, may we take our leave now? You looked at his gritted teeth and bitter expression, offering a faint smile before uttering words that ignited his fury to its peak. I ordered you to cut off their arms earlier, only because I didn't want them to suffer a painful death. Now, finish them all. The moment the command was issued, Chixiao Yun erupted in a fit of rage. I can be killed, but I will not be humiliated. This is bullying beyond all reason. With a roar, he stepped forward, instantly closing the distance to strike his blade through your chest. He could scarcely believe how easily he had defeated you. Little did he know, as you felt your life force fading, your heart was blooming with joy. After 10,000 years, this foundation establishment realm was finally over. Satisfied, you collapsed to the ground, falling completely still. The scene left the minds of everyone present utterly blank. Chixiao Yun could not trust his own eyes as he stared at the sword in his hand. Had he truly slain the legendary Juxiao Zhenren just like that? Moreover, he had clearly seen this supreme expert laughing as he fell. What exactly was he laughing at? However, unlike the shock felt by the others, Lin Wenyi's face turned deathly pale. How could the Patriarch die so quickly? Where was that returning to simplicity realm he supposedly mastered? But before she could process the situation, Chixiao Yun arrogantly pointed at her. Lin Wenyi, why don't you kneel already? Keep kowtowing to that broken forbidden zone. Let's see if there are any other patriarchs left in the Qingyun sect. No sooner had he finished than your unique ability immediately activated, and you stepped out from the forbidden zone, completely unharmed. Seeing you appear again, the sneer on Chixiao Yun's face froze. Even Lin Wenyi felt the world spinning in disbelief. What is happening? How could the Patriarch have come back to life? Yet you ignored their reactions, focusing entirely on the state of your new vessel. Your cultivation had reached the Golden Core realm, though it was a 100-fold increase from before compared to Chixiao Yun, who stood at the nascent soul realm. You were still no different from an ant. No, he still requires further cultivation. With that thought, you declare with earth-shattering gravitas, I am Taoist Ju Feng. To think my senior brother would fall at the hands of a treacherous wretch like you. However, upon hearing these words, Chixiao Yun's mind opposite him completely stalled. Last time, the so-called Taoist Ju Xiao possessed no detectable cultivation, yet this man appears to be at the Golden Core stage. The bizarre part, however, is that both men look identical. Though the situation remains shrouded in mystery, Chixiao Yun does not hesitate to lunge forward with his blade. Predictably, Taoist Ju Feng falls to a single strike, a second master of the Qingyun sect eliminated in quick succession. At this moment, Chixiao Yun is brimming with absolute unbridled confidence. Lin Wenyi, are the ancestors of your lineage made of mud? How are they so easily shattered? It seems this Qingyun sect has truly fallen into decay. The ancestors you summon are nothing more than pathetic frauds. Hurry and send more to the slaughter so I may sharpen my blade. Lin Wenyi is so incensed she nearly loses consciousness, collapsing before the entrance of the secret realm, trembling like a helpless lamb. But just as Chixiao Yun prepares to sever the weeds and pull up the roots, another figure emerges from the void. This time, the newcomer's cultivation has reached the nascent soul realm. You dare slay the two junior brothers of Ai Gufan? Submit to my great desolate imprisoning finger. Though Qi Xiaoyun is momentarily stunned, your expression of absolute cold-blooded intensity forces him to instinctively deploy his sect's protective artifact. Yet after waiting several seconds, he realizes there was no attack whatsoever. Another talentless ancestor attempting to posture. Seeing you failed to intimidate him, you continue your provocation without a trace of fear. My great desolate imprisoning finger is a mental strike. You have already been struck and remain oblivious. Hearing this, Qi Xiaoyun frantically probes his sea of consciousness, only to scoff at himself the next second. What mental strike? There is nothing there. You are at death's door and still spouting nonsense. The Qingyun sect has so many ancestors, yet not a single one with a functioning brain. Before the words leave his lips, Qi Xiaoyun unleashes a flying sword, instantly ending the life of this Taoist Ju Yi. Yet the ordeal does not end. He hurriedly activates his jade communication talisman, messaging the Qi Xiao sword sect about a mysterious secret realm within the Qingyun sect. This realm is filled with countless ancestors. Though their strength is mediocre, their behavior is perverse, appearing endless and impossible to purge. We must prevent even stronger ancestors from emerging. I suggest the sect dispatches more elites immediately. Having sent the message, Qi Xiaoyun charges straight toward Lin Wani. This grueling mission has completely exhausted his remaining patience. His mind is now fixated solely on ending this task so he may finally return home. But the moment that thought takes root, a familiar figure emerges once more. I am Taoist Jiujue. Before you finish your proclamation, you deliver a palm strike directly into Qi Xiaoyun's chest. Before he can even react, Qi Xiaoyun is sent hurtling through the air. You lack all martial virtue. How dare you launch a sneak attack? Qi Xiaoyun struggles to suppress his rage, forcing himself to maintain composure. This new ancestor may be at the nascent soul realm like myself, but there is still a gap of 3 minor stages. If I go all out, killing him should be effortless. However, he is unaware that you now possess the power of the nascent soul realm, and there is no longer a need for empty threats. In the next heartbeat, you abandon all defenses, throwing yourself into a desperate all-out assault. Though your body is riddled with lethal sword wounds, you continue your relentless onslaught. This suicidal fighting style instantly leaves Qi Xiaoyun unable to withstand the pressure. After 3 minutes of brutal combat, you let out a wild laugh and expire, while Qi Xiaoyun finds himself severely wounded. Hearing that laughter, a chill crawls down his spine. Something is gravely wrong. Even death feels ominous. Every time one is killed, a stronger, more formidable master appears in his place. What realm will the next one possess? Overcome with dread, Qi Xiaoyun screams orders to the disciples cowering behind him. Quickly, take me away from this place. Before he could finish his boast, a familiar shadow descended. He dared to slaughter the disciples of my Qingyun sect, and now he thinks he can simply run? At this moment, the spirit of Qi Xiaoyun collapsed entirely, and he shrieked, "Stay back! Don't you dare come any closer!" But before he could even draw breath, you merely raised a hand and exerted a slight, effortless pressure. Immediately, a colossal palm manifested from the heavens, crushing down upon the earth. With a thunderous boom, Qi Xiaoyun and the entire cohort of the Qi Xiao sword sect were obliterated, ground into nothing but fine dust. Though you had successfully neutralized the threat to the sect, you felt no joy in the victory. Even though this body possesses the strength of a soul transformation realm expert, a rank of a supreme elder in any ordinary sect, there exist even higher pinnacles: void refinement, body integration, tribulation transcendence, and the Mahayana realm. Ultimately, the soul transformation realm is merely a slightly larger ant. You must continue to seek a path to transcend your limits. Haunted by this realization, you hurriedly replayed the memories of your previous lives and deaths. Your score is plummeting lower with every cycle, nearing the absolute bottom. It seems you must devise a more creative, more spectacular way to perish. Unexpectedly, Lin Wani standing beside you was paralyzed with shock, yet she quickly regained her composure to report the dire state of the Qingyun sect. With the sect now left only with her, she had braved the forbidden path to the secret realm to seek aid, desperate to protect the sect's supreme treasure, the Haoshan Mirror. Qi Xiaozi, the patriarch of the Qi Xiao sword sect, possesses the strength of a third-stage soul transformation expert. If they fail to seize the Haoshan Mirror, they will never cease their hunt. With those words, she retrieved the Haoshan Mirror from her spatial ring. You gazed at the mirror resting in your palm, and a flawless plan to skyrocket your strength formed in your mind, unaware that a far greater calamity was silently closing in. For at that very moment, a massive airship blotting out the sky and earth was surging toward the Qingyun sect. The patriarch on board, Qi Xiaozi, furrowed his brow. He had seen the final message sent by Qi Xiaoyun, and while the news of a surviving Qingyun ancestor shocked him, his fury burned white-hot at the death of his disciple. That was a vessel he had spent hundreds of years carefully refining, intended to serve as his own host once his lifespan withered. He never imagined it would be extinguished within the walls of this insignificant sect. Thinking this, Qi Xiaozi cast an icy gaze toward the elder at his side. Your junior brother's death is a regrettable waste. Once you have slaughtered the ancestor of the Qingyun sect, you shall consume his life essence. Treat it as the final tribute for your fallen brother. Hearing this, Elder Qi Mingyuan rejoiced and eagerly volunteered to lead the vanguard. Yet before the airship could even descend, a figure appeared silently upon its deck. Qi Xiao sword sect, you have slaughtered many of my disciples, yet you still have the audacity to come here seeking your own demise. I am Gufan, come, all of you attack me at once. Ignorant of his impending doom, Qi Mingyuan's rage erupted. He unleashed the full force of his first-stage soul transformation power. intending to reduce you to splinters with a lethal strike. But as the two terrifying ripples of spiritual energy collided and dispersed, you remained standing, completely unscathed. Instead, it was Qi Mingyuan who stumbled back over 100 paces. When two experts of the same realm clash, the disparity in power is instantly laid bare. Facing an opponent of this caliber makes it truly difficult to achieve a high death score. And so, to increase the difficulty of your challenge, you surged forward to confront the arrogant ant who dared to overestimate his own worth. If I cannot eradicate you within 3 strikes, I shall end my own life right here. The moment the words left your lips, Qi Mingyun's face flushed with violent indignation. We are both at the first stage of soul transformation. On what grounds do you dare to look down upon me with such contempt? He shrieked, transforming into a streak of blood-red sword light as he lunged forward. But to his horror, you did not evade. You merely pointed 2 fingers like a sword, channeling the supreme technique of this body to deliver a singular, piercing strike. Though the strike appeared deceptively simple, it carried an oppressive, peerless majesty that shook the very void. In an instant, dozens of wounds, deep enough to reach his marrow, appeared across Qi Mingyuan's body. You could only sigh, disappointed that someone of the same cultivation level could be so utterly frail. Terrified, he scrambled back, desperate to beg the Patriarch for his life. But Qi Xiaozi, disgusted by the incompetence of his subordinate, secretly unleashed 3 soul-devouring nails to ambush you. A mortal might have scrambled to dodge such a cowardly strike, but to you, the threshold of life and death is nothing more than a trivial game. The next moment, a formless blade intent descended from the heavens, bisecting both Qi Mingyuan and the incoming projectiles in one clean motion. The shockwave of the technique nearly capsized the airship, and only through Qi Xiaozi's desperate efforts to stabilize it did the vessel remain in the sky. Despite losing the first exchange, Qi Xiaozi's heart soared with excitement. He was now certain that this true human Juyi was merely at the first stage of soul transformation. If he chose to strike personally, he was 10 parts certain he would secure the kill. But he never anticipated that you would suddenly charge forward with the intent to go down in a blaze of glory. Facing this suicidal assault, Qi Xiaozi felt the pressure of a collapsing mountain and frantically commanded his 5 remaining elders to join the fray. Only by sacrificing several of his precious artifacts was he finally able to suppress the resulting explosion. Of the 5 elders, 3 were gravely wounded and 2 lay dead. Even Qi Xiaotuzi could not withstand the blow, collapsing to the earth as he vomited blood. What manner of madmen occupy the Qingyun sect? Should high-level experts not probe each other's strength before committing to a lethal strike? Yet before he could finish his thought, a scene unfolded that froze him in place. His opponent had chosen to detonate their very soul. Though he had emerged victorious, this hollow triumph left him filled with nothing but bile and frustration. Having sustained such severe injuries, he would likely need to enter seclusion for half a century just to recover. After a moment of regaining his composure, a smirk curled upon Qi Xiaotuzi's lips, his gaze locked onto Lin Wanner. Qingyun sect, do you have any other ancestors hidden away? Though framed as a question, Qi Xiaotuzi had already settled on the answer. How could there possibly be another? Had one existed, they surely would have intervened long ago, rather than allowing Taoist Juyi to sacrifice his life in a desperate suicide blast. Contemplating this, Qi Xiaotuzi erupted into mocking laughter, yet mid-law, a familiar voice descended from the peak. I am Gufan. With those words, a familiar silhouette stepped forth once more from the forbidden zone. Heaven shifted in an instant, the very air warping into a painting of verdant pines and chilling frost. Witnessing this anomaly, a desperate urge to flee ignited within Qi Xiaotuzi. He had never imagined the Qingyun sect harbored a powerhouse capable of manifesting such terrifying visions. To confront a being of such strength would be nothing more than a mantis trying to halt a chariot. Driven by dread, Qi Xiaotuzi commanded his remaining 3 elders to charge while he incinerated his own longevity to activate a forbidden escape technique. Yet to his horror, the 3 elders did not hold for even a second. A single flash of sword intent swept through and they fell to the earth, lifeless. Miles away, Qi Xiaotuzi fled in a blind panic, yet the paralyzing fear refused to dissipate. Even at this distance, he remained trapped within the crushing reach of the vision. This was clearly the work of an expert at the 5th layer of the Hualong realm. How could a righteous sect harbor someone more ruthless than himself? If such a powerhouse existed, why stay hidden until now? Suddenly, he recalled the warnings of Qi Xiaoyun. Every time a Qingyun ancestor appeared, they were stronger than the last. Could there be an even greater master standing behind this Gufan? Gripped by regret, he incinerated decades more of his life force, desperate to put distance between them. He had to reach his master to survive. However, you did not pursue the fleeing cur, for a target of such low caliber offered no challenge worth your time. The true priority now was to raise their lair and see if any other ancestors were hiding in their forbidden grounds. With that resolution, you entrusted the sect matters to Lin Wanner and vanished into the horizon. Unbeknownst to you, the Chixiao sword sect was already in a state of absolute chaos. Convinced that Qi Xiaotuzi was returning in triumph, they had lowered all defenses. In the next heartbeat, a titanic sword, shimmering with world-shaking power, descended from the void. In a mere moment, the 1,000-year legacy of the Chixiao sword sect was reduced to nothing but dust beneath your hand. Watching the enemy perish without the slightest ability to resist, you could not help but marvel at the devastating potential of this new vessel. Compared to Taoist Juyi, Gufan possessed a far more profound cultivation technique. This Pinewind sword art was 10 times more potent than the previous White Cloud art, and with your explosive cultivation base, it was an unstoppable force. Though you were only at the 5th layer of the Hualong realm, even an expert at the peak of Hualong would struggle to survive a clash with you. It was time to seek out a worthier challenge. With this intent, you descended upon Tianya City, seeking to extract information from Xingwuzi. Little did you know, the mere mention of your title piqued his interest. Word of your solo annihilation of the Xiao sword sect had already spread, and the rumors of the Qingyun sect's bizarre forbidden zone were legendary. He could not resist the urge to divine your fate. However, the moment he attempted to peer into your destiny, dark clouds gathered over Tianya City, and thunder roared in suppression. It felt as though, should he dare to calculate the truth, every living soul within the city would be annihilated by the resulting backlash. Merely testing the waters had cost him 100 years of his own lifespan. Xingwuzi recoiled, his heart seized with regret and terror. Though he still did not understand the nature of the Qingyun sect, he was certain of one thing. You were a being of extraordinary, terrifying significance. He dared not delay in answering your demands. He quickly provided the information you required. After fleeing, Qi Xiaotuzi had sought refuge at the Wanhai Grotto, run by his superiors. The Wanhai Grotto was a formidable force and a regional hegemon. Its sect master Xian was a powerhouse at the first heavenly layer of the Xiantai realm, and his subordinates, the 3 Shi brothers, were all peak Hualong experts, rumored to be the illegitimate kin of a supreme being from the death-forbidden zone. In both raw power and backing, they were an adversary of the highest order. With a cold flick of his wrist, Tin V2 presented the map of Wanhaiku, framing it as an offering of goodwill. Securing the map, you did not hesitate, immediately setting your sights on a journey to Wanhaiku. The Sectmaster, merely a Xiantai stage cultivator, posed no threat to your plans. Your true focus lay on the Supreme's illegitimate son, to slay him and invite the wrath of the Supreme, only to fall by the Master's own hand. That path would surely yield the highest score. Meanwhile, at Wanhaiku, Xiao lay on the brink of death, gasping for air, only to receive word that the Xiao sword sect had been razed, the mountain and all its inhabitants leveled to dust. Upon hearing this cataclysmic news, Xiaotu's vision darkened, and he nearly collapsed from the sheer weight of his despair. Regaining a shred of composure, he frantically begged the 3 brothers of the Shi clan to intervene on his behalf. After all, the mission to seize the Haoshan Mirror had been a direct order issued by Wanhaiku. Even though he had acted on his own initiative to slaughter the disciples of the Qingyun sect, his original goal remained the fulfillment of Wanhaiku's mandate. To his horror, the 3 Shi brothers listened to his pleas with cold, impenetrable indifference. It was clear that the old ancestor of the Qingyun sect was reaching his twilight and had descended the mountain for one final, desperate struggle. While they did not fear a mere Hualong 5th layer cultivator, Wanhaiku had no desire to be hunted by such a desperate dying man. With a dismissive wave, the 3 brothers prepared to eject the pathetic Xiaotu from their presence. But at that very moment, a terrifying phenomenon ignited in the heavens above the hall. The Pine Moon anomalies signaled the arrival of Gufan. Xiaotu, paralyzed by primal fear, scrambled into a corner, leaving the 3 Shi brothers to face the impending calamity alone. Outside, screams tore through the air as the Pine Moon anomaly churned, condensing endless lethal clouds that detonated in a relentless chain of destruction. Wanhaiku disciples fell in droves, an elder was struck down, and the sect's grand protective formation shuddered. The initial clash had already dealt catastrophic damage. Furrowing their brows in icy rage, the 3 Shi brothers roared, since when did any demonic sect dare to storm their gates? If their foe sought death with such arrogance, why should they show any restraint? Could a mere Hualong 5th layer from the Qingyun sect truly overturn the heavens? With that lethal resolve firmly in mind, Xie instantly unsealed the 10,000 Souls banner. The 3 Hualong 4th layer experts unleashed their own power, creating a sky-shrouding phenomenon that collided violently with your surging, pitch-black miasma. Yet, after an earth-shattering impact, you were not repelled. Instead, you seized the absolute advantage. The opening exchange left the 3 Shi brothers trembling in disbelief, forcing them to shed their arrogance instantly. Below the chaos of the battlefield, the saint son of Wanhaiku, Ying Aoshan, smirked. His eyes glinted with malice as he recalled a secret technique gifted by his supreme father, a ritual to claim the manifestations of others as his own. The arrival of old ancestor Gufan was, in his eyes, a heaven-sent gift delivered on a silver platter. Thinking this, Ying Aoshan commanded the elders engaged in the fray, "Leave him alive, with just a breath remaining." This was not a request, it was a decree. Hearing this, the 3 Shi brothers felt a chill of dread. Had this saint son finally lost his mind? Victory was uncertain even while fighting at full strength, yet he demanded a captive. But before they could process the order, you were already pushed to your limit. Since descending the mountain, you had fought with relentless intensity, maintaining your manifestation without a moment's reprieve, knowing that any sign of fatigue would diminish your score. With a thunderous laugh, you chose the unthinkable. You detonated your soul, turning the entire battlefield into a raging, hellish inferno. Watching the scene unfold, Xie and his brother stood paralyzed, their eyes wide with sheer horror. Why would a cultivator at the peak of victory choose to self-destruct? Usually, men only considered such an act in their final hopeless moments. You had already won, yet you chose to end in fire. They had no time to ponder your madness. This was the detonation of a Hualong 5th layer expert fueled by a divine manifestation. They could only exhaust every protective artifact and secret technique in a desperate bid to survive. Only Ying Ocean at the Siki stage was not so fortunate. Not only were his protective treasures shattered and his Hualong stage servants obliterated, but he himself stood no chance against the cataclysmic shockwave. Even in his final moments, he attempted to invoke his father's title to strike fear into his enemy. But since the enemy had already chosen to self-destruct, his threats carried no weight. The Supreme's illegitimate son was reduced to bloody mist, dying in the most humiliating fashion imaginable. Sure enough, as the demonic clouds dissipated, a cold, ancient voice echoed from the depths of the earth. Sect Master Xian, who had been in deep seclusion, finally emerged. As a Xiantai stage powerhouse, he rarely concerned himself with trifles, but this calamity had shattered his cultivation meditation. He emerged to assess the wreckage, and the sight that greeted him nearly caused his heart to burst with rage. On one hand, the one haiku he had painstakingly built now lay in smoldering ruins. On the other, the illegitimate son of the Supreme, entrusted to his care, had been butchered. The madman who caused this slaughter had self-destructed, and the cowardly Chixiotu had already fled before the first strike was even dealt. Xian was consumed by a manic rage, dragging Gufan from the ruins and intending to mince him into 10,000 pieces. Yet in the next heartbeat, a sight left him utterly paralyzed. At the final moment, you offered a faint smile. What could you possibly be finding so amusing? On the other side, you stepped out from the Qingyun sect's forbidden grounds, your death tally reaching rank B, and your cultivation surging to the 8th layer of the Hualong realm. Seeing their ancestor emerge, Lin Wani was caught between a swell of relief and a shroud of sorrow. If her calculations were correct, the Patriarch Gufan had surely fallen. Your subsequent explanation served only to solidify her grim suspicion, and you had even come to pay your respects to your previous manifestations. The sensation of mourning one's own life is truly surreal, yet is this not the ultimate validation of your own relentless efforts? Reflecting on this, you resolved to head for the Wanhai sect. After all, since you had slipped in, they would never let this matter rest. Rather than waiting for them to strike at your sect's gates, it was better to strike while they were crippled. And as you prepared to depart, Lin Wani stepped forward and softly asked, "Ancestor, will you return?" You did not look back, merely replying with a light, "I shall return." With a single stride, you vanished into thin air. Meanwhile, news that the Wanhai sect's headquarters at Xianxia City had been razed spread like wildfire. Jing Weizi, aware that you were the architect of this destruction, intended for the Tianji Pavilion to continue monitoring the movements of the Qingyun sect. Beyond him, the city swarmed with rogue cultivators, most of whom harbored deep-seated grudges against the Wanhai sect. Hearing that the demonic sect was waning, they traveled from afar to contribute to the righteous purge, hoping to scavenge whatever treasures or fortunes might be left behind. In a short time, chaos erupted within the Wanhai sect. The three Shi brothers were furious, yet utterly powerless to stem the tide. They had suffered grievous injuries in the prior battle, and the sect master remained in seclusion to mend his broken foundations. Desperate to resolve the encroaching catastrophe, they resolved to unleash the monster sealed within the sect's forbidden depths. However, before the seal could be broken, the ancestor of the Qingyun sect arrived once more. You stood suspended in the void, wind and lightning coiled in your grasp, your Hualong 8th layer aura erupting in a display of overwhelming might, raining devastating divine manifestations down upon Xian's hidden retreat. Seeing the legendary ancestor of the Qingyun sect take the field, the spectating rogue cultivators rushed forward, fearing that if they were slow, the spoils of war would be snatched away. Though the three Shi brothers and a cadre of elders fought to maintain their defenses, it was all in vain. The makeshift sect-protecting formation shattered in an instant. The site of Xian's meditation was leveled by the blast, such a display of raw, overbearing strength. As Xian's eyes snapped open, the aura of a Xiantai stage expert erupted with terrifying intensity. In a flash, a wave of torrential spiritual energy collided with your wind-lightning manifestation, shielding the Wanhai sect from your lethal blow. Because his healing process was violently interrupted, Xian's injuries worsened, his cultivation fluctuating dangerously toward the peak of the Hualong realm. Your previous strike had been delivered with everything you had, nearly draining your core of its spiritual essence, yet you allowed yourself not a moment of respite. Immediately you unleashed a second, combined strike of wind, lightning, and spiritual power. She barely parried the blow, his endurance shattered. As he staggered back and fell to one knee, you saw his cultivation slipping and seized the moment with a triumphant cry. You shouted to incite the frenzy of the rogue cultivators swarming behind you. "This fiend is trapped by me. Whatever fortunes the Wanhai sect holds, seize them now." In a blink, accompanied by thunderous roars to eradicate the demonic path, the rogue cultivators swarmed like a plague of locusts. Where they trod, not a soul survived and not a blade of grass was left standing. Two shadows emerged from within the Wanhai sect, elders of the Juyu sect, arriving under the guise of investigation. Though the Ju sect was the superior power to the Wanhai sect, they came not to offer salvation, but to scavenge whatever value remained. With a sweep of their divine sense, they swiftly pinpointed the three brothers cowering in the forbidden zone. Without a second of hesitation, they recited the incantation to shatter the minor seal. In an instant, a plume of pitch-black mist rose, a sight that chilled the very souls of those who witnessed it. In a heartbeat, the life force of every nearby cultivator was drained dry. Even the three Shi brothers were consumed as fodder for the beast. Witnessing the black mist erupt, Jing Weizi, standing on the fringes, was struck with sheer terror. Why would the Wanhai sect harbor such a wretched, hellish brood of demonic monsters? The Wanhai sect truly deserved its annihilation. A monster of this caliber was beyond the reach of ordinary mortals. This was a variable even the omniscient Tianji Pavilion had failed to foresee. Powerless to intervene, Jing Weizi burned a spiritual talisman to prepare his retreat, yet his eyes gleamed with a chilling, frantic excitement, muttering that regardless of who won this day, the Wanhai sect's territory would be wiped from the map entirely. As long as these demonic entities remain, no one here shall escape with their lives. High above, pummeled by your relentless suicidal barrage, Xian was finally struck down by a surge of wind and lightning. Yet the aura of an immortal platform realm expert is inherently different, instantly drawing the gaze of the black mist. When Xian turned to witness the encroaching darkness, it was already too late. His grievous wounds left him defenseless against the devouring void. In the blink of an eye, the ancient demon seized control of his consciousness and his vessel. Before his soul dissipated, he gathered his remaining strength to scream at you. Gufan, do not think you have won. Beyond the Wanhai abyss lies the Nine Nether underworld. You and I are nothing more than ants struggling in the dirt. As his voice trailed off, a torrent of black smoke erupted from the earth. Nearby rogue cultivators were caught in the wake, and a single touch of the mist meant instant death. In a heartbeat, the ground turned into a hellscape of agonizing wails. The elders of the Nine Nether underworld, observing from the shadows, were seized by panic. They never imagined the treasure hidden within the Wanhai abyss was, in truth, a demonic entity. To harbor such a creature is one thing, but for it to implicate the Nine Nether underworld, its patron, before dying, the world will surely brand them as traitors who colluded with the demon race. Faced with this realization, they activated their artifacts and fled into the distance. Meanwhile, the demon possessing Xian's body grinned at you. You appear weary. Submit to me, and I shall grant you eternal life. Yet, as you locked eyes with this newly emerged threat, your heart surged with exhilarating intent. Your intuition whispered a truth. The power supporting your infinite cycle of rebirth would never permit fusion with such a wretched demon. If you could purge these abominations, your evaluation score would undoubtedly soar. With this thought, your eyes sparkled like stars as you offered him a chilling smile. Eternal life is a triviality I have no interest in. As the words left your lips, you steadied your resolve, gathered the wind and lightning once more, and charged headlong into the fray. The fleeing rogue cultivators below watched in awe, their hearts stirred to their very core. Ancestor Gufan of the Qingyun sect, your benevolence is etched into our souls. The human and demon races stand as eternal, irreconcilable enemies. Senior Gufan's actions today are truly worthy the hero of mankind. From this day forth, I pledge myself as a disciple of the Qingyun sect. The will of the Qingyun sect shall not perish, it must find its successors. If this path leads to enmity with the Nine Nether underworld, then so be it. A man with nothing to lose fears no shadow. To betray the faith of Senior Gufan would be a stain on my soul for all eternity. As wave after wave of cultivators declared their allegiance to the Qingyun sect, the leader of the demons felt his grin falter. It feared not the strength of human experts, but the absence of fear in these people. If they threw their lives away in endless succession, the demon race would never know peace. Seeing you hailed as the savior of humanity, the demon resolved to possess you at any cost. Only by eliminating such a central figure could it strike true terror into the hearts of these ants. With a command, the black mist surged toward you, but you no longer held back. You recited the familiar incantation, Heaven and Earth Infinite, Qingyun Exorcism Explosion. The moment the chant concluded, the wind and lightning surrounding you detonated, unleashing your full dragon transformation 8th stage cultivation without reservation. Resonating with the spiritual energy of the cultivators behind you, a massive silver-white Qingyun great sword manifested, driven by the suicidal determination to drag the demon into oblivion. The demon leader's expression shifted violently. Occupying the immortal platform body of Xian, it had expected to crush a mere 8th stage human, never anticipating that this madman would voluntarily detonate his own cultivation. You maniac, you are a complete lunatic. Humans have always been cowards clinging to life. Why do you defy the very nature of your kind? The demon roared, forcing every ounce of its demonic essence into a pitch-black shield, desperately bracing for the apocalyptic strike. But the might of the Qingyun great sword had already transcended the limits of the dragon transformation realm. It was the explosion of your life force, the combined weight of the cultivator's faith, and the desperate, burning obsession to conquer. In the next heartbeat, the great sword slammed into the demonic shield. The shield shattered like brittle paper upon impact. The demonic energy was purged, layer by agonizing layer by the Qingyun sword. The demon leader emitted a harrowing, shrill scream. Then, along with the physical vessel of Xian, the demon core within was reduced to nothing but dust in the violent blast. Amidst the swirling smoke and debris, your ruined body drifted downward, a familiar, crazed smile still clinging to your lips. 1,000,000 years have passed. From a lowly ant scrambling through the mud to a powerhouse at the 8th realm of the dragon transformation, I have finally stood against the chieftain of the abyssal demons at the immortal terrace realm. This long and arduous journey has reached a truly exhilarating conclusion. This sacrifice has been evaluated at the SSS grade. The evaluation is earned through the price of my own life to annihilate the abyssal demon leader, upholding the noble bloodline of humanity and shielding thousands of rogue cultivators, an act perfectly aligned with the core principles of the Qingyun sect, triggering the highest tier of rewards. My cultivation base has surged by 100-fold upon this rebirth. Congratulations to the host for breaking through the dragon transformation realm, stepping into the 5th heaven of the immortal terrace, rewarded with the divine ability. Qingyun demon suppressing seal, rewarded with the ancient manual. 10,000 Kalpas Qingyun technique, rewarded with the exclusive celestial phenomenon, Heavens of Azure Clouds Descend. A supplementary reward grants the retention of all combat memories and insights into cultivation techniques from before the sacrifice. As my lifespan increases by 1,000 years and the surge of power echoes within my mind, deep within the secret realm of the Qingyun sect, the long-dormant stone gates suddenly groan open. You emerge, draped in robes as white as moonlight, stepping forth into the world. Not a single trace of spiritual energy radiates from your body, yet every gesture resonates with the very laws of heaven and earth. Behind you, an ethereal tapestry of azure clouds weaves through the void, and the phantom images of ancient stars bow in silent reverence. This is the celestial manifestation that only a true master of the immortal terrace realm can manifest. Lin Wani and dozens of rogue cultivators, who had gathered to defend the secret realm and pledged their loyalty to the Qingyun sect, fall to their knees in unison as they behold you. Their voices tremble, filled with immense fervor and awe. We welcome the Patriarch's emergence from seclusion. Patriarch Xianxia. You raise a hand, a gentle ripple of energy lifting them to their feet. Your gaze sweeps across the dense crowd below. Even you are slightly surprised that a single act of self-destruction could bring such new vitality to a Qingyun sect once on the brink of total annihilation. Lin Wani, her eyes brimming with tears, bows low. Patriarch, are you the martial brother of Patriarch Gufan? She is accustomed to various patriarchs of identical appearance, yet varying drastically in cultivation, emerging from the secret realm. But this time she senses a pressure unlike any other, a power that transcends the god transformation. It is a presence that makes even her soul tremble in fear. I am Gu Xuanzhenren. You speak with calm indifference, your gaze shifting toward the Wanhai abyss. I am well aware of what has transpired. The demonic remnants remain, and the Nine Serenities underworld harbors the seeds of disaster. It is time the heavens of the Tianan region were cleansed. Before the words even leave your lips, your figure vanishes, reappearing instantly above the ravaged landscape of the Wanhai abyss. Even now, the residual demonic miasma lingers and spreads across the Wanhai abyss. The surviving rogue cultivators struggle to clear out the low-level demons, but they find themselves powerless against the relentless black mist churning from the depths of the rift. The fall of the demon leader was not enough to eradicate the demonic race entirely. The demonic seeds hiding deep within the forbidden zone are breeding frantically. Fellow Daoists, fall back. A calm voice cuts through the air. Everyone looks up, seeing you standing in the void with your hands clasped behind your back. The celestial phenomenon, heavens of azure clouds, unfolds behind you. The moment the tapestry expands, golden light illuminates the azure clouds, sweeping across the black mist with overwhelming radiance. Like snow meeting boiling water, the darkness vanishes instantly. The ferocious low-level demons are unable to even emit a shriek before they are completely purified by the Qingyun seal, converted into pure spiritual essence between heaven and earth. In the blink of an eye, the demonic aura shrouding the Wanhai abyss is wiped clean without a trace. The demonic seeds lurking deep within the forbidden depths are similarly suppressed by the Qingyun demon-suppressing seal, sealed away for eternity. Seeing this, the rogue cultivators below are utterly stunned, only erupting into earth-shattering cheers after a long silence. Patriarch Gushuan is supreme. The Patriarch is the savior of humanity. We swear to follow the Patriarch to the death to restore the Qingyun sect and protect Tianan. Yet just as the crowd reaches a fever pitch, the sky suddenly rips open, forming a gargantuan void. The next second, 3 obsidian black war vessels shatter the void and descent. The 3 massive red characters, Nine Serenities Underworld, emblazoned on the hulls shine with a blinding, sinister light, radiating a demonic aura that chills the bone. An old man in black robes stands at the prow, his aura, the 9th heaven of the immortal terrace, releasing its full oppressive weight without reservation. The pressure forces the rogue cultivators below to gasp for air. Many of the weaker ones collapse, forced to their knees. So you are the one who destroyed the Wanhai abyss, slaughtered my demon envoys, and purified the demonic seeds of my Nine Serenities underworld. The black-robed elder fixed his cold, gloomy gaze upon you, his voice radiating a murderous chill. He is Xianxia, the sovereign of the Nine Nether Alliance, a peak-tier immortal platform cultivator who has lived for millennia. Standing merely a step away from the quasi-emperor realm, he serves as the core puppet planted by the demon lord within the human race. The 2 Nine Nether Alliance elders who had fled earlier now stood fawning beside Xianxia, pointing at you with trembling voices. Sovereign, it is this man. Not only did he destroy Wanhai Ku and slay Sect Master Xian, he even arrogantly threatened to raise our Nine Nether Alliance and eradicate the demon race to the very root. You heard this and let out a scoff. Far from feeling a shred of fear, a glimmer of irrepressible excitement flickered in your eyes. With the peak immortal platform expert and 18 additional immortal platform elders, this formation was far more formidable than the previous demon leader. If you fell at their hands, your combat rating would undoubtedly surge to a new height, perhaps breaking through to SSS rank or even higher. Raise the Nine Nether Alliance, you asked, hands clasped behind your back, your tone dripping with disdain. Do you truly think a pack of trash who collude with demons and betray humanity is worthy of me lifting a finger? I will give you all one chance, attack together. Should you manage to kill me, consider it your triumph. If you dare not, then kneel and meet your end, serving as mere stepping stones for my path to supreme power. As these words rang out, the entire hall fell into a deathly silence. The rogue cultivators below could only gasp in profound shock. Xianxia had reigned supreme over Tianan for thousands of years as a true peak immortal platform master. His 9 nether demonic arts were legendary, and the number of righteous cultivators who had perished by his hand was beyond counting. Surely this ancestor Gushuan was being far too reckless. Shangzhuan laughed in a fit of pure rage. How arrogant, you insolent child. Have you been asleep for 1,000,000 years, truly believing that Tianan still belongs to your Qingyun sect? Today, I shall teach you that there are heavens far beyond your own. Before the word demon had even left his lips, Shangzhuan struck. Pitch-black demonic flames swirled in his palms, laced with the wretched wails of countless tortured souls. In the next heartbeat, a palm seal imbued with the laws of destruction thundered toward you. It was the Nine Nether Alliance's ultimate technique, the Nine Nether world-ending palm, capable of effortlessly pulverizing mid-stage immortal platform cultivators. Yet the assault did not end there. The 18 Nine Nether elders behind him simultaneously formed a formation. The Nine Nether demonic array instantly manifested, shrouding the heavens and earth in suffocating demonic energy, completely sealing off your escape. Countless demonic blades materialized from every direction, cutting off all paths of retreat. They knew well that this Qingyun sect ancestor acted with terrifying unpredictability and monstrous combat prowess, and only by striking in unison could they hope to annihilate him. Seeing this, the smile in your eyes deepened. Instead of resisting, you actively dissipated all your protective spirit energy. You allowed the world-shattering palm seals and demonic blades to descend directly upon your body. I refuse to yield. Under the onslaught of spirit energy, your physical form shattered inch by inch within the demonic flames. The crisp, brittle sound of snapping bones echoed clearly through the air. Yet, even so, you locked eyes with the stunned Shangxuan and let out a boisterous, triumphant laugh. Is this all the strength you possess? Did you forget to eat today? Strike harder. If you cannot even manage this, I shall die feeling nothing but disappointment. Hearing these words, Shangxuan felt his scalp tingle with dread. A lunatic, this is absolutely a madman. Having lived for millennia, he had seen many ruthless souls, but never one this utterly deranged. Faced with a full-force blow from a peak immortal platform master, he not only refused to dodge, he dissolved his own defenses and mocked him for lacking strength. He simply could not fathom what had possessed this Qingyun sect ancestor to crave death with such fervor. But he had no time to ponder. As your consciousness faded, you detonated your entire 5th stage immortal platform cultivation and the Qingyun sword intent within your body, transforming into a heaven-piercing pillar of light that crashed into Shangxuan and the 18 elders. With a cataclysmic explosion, the 9 Nether demonic array was disintegrated on the spot. 7 of the 18 immortal platform elders were obliterated instantly. The remaining 11 were severely wounded, their soul-bound artifacts shattered. Even Shangxuan was sent flying hundreds of meters back by the shockwave, coughing blood with a chest wound so deep his bones were visible, his aura instantly crippled by more than half. This fall has been rated SSS rank. Reason for rating: faced with a peak immortal platform threat and 18 elders, you sacrificed yourself to cripple the core forces of the Nine Nether Alliance, shattered the demonic invasion plot, and protected the foundation of the Tianan human race, triggering a reward from the heavenly Tao. Upon revival, your cultivation has increased by 1,000-fold. Congratulations to the host for breaking through the immortal platform realm and entering the peak of the quasi-emperor realm, standing only a single step away from the great emperor realm. Reward: Heavenly Tao recognition, infusion of the Tianan human race's destiny, and perfection of the 10,000 Eons Qingyun manual, allowing you to control the timing of your own revival without passive waiting. As the feedback energy cascaded down, the sky over the Qingyun sect's secret realm was suddenly blanketed in azure clouds, glowing with a myriad of auspicious lights. The next moment, you took a single step, and the pressure of a quasi-emperor descended. The mere aura radiating from you caused the entire mountain range of the Qingyun sect to tremble. This time, Lin Wani, all the disciples of the Qingyun sect, and even cultivators within a 10,000-mile radius felt a pressure emanate from the very depths of their souls. They knelt in unison toward the secret realm, chanting in reverence, "We welcome the quasi-emperor ancestor. May the ancestor be eternally blessed." Back at Wanhaiku, Shangxuan clutched his chest, surveying the devastation with eyes full of terror and malice. He could not understand why this Qingyun sect ancestor was crazier and more powerful than any other entity he had ever encountered. From a mere Foundation establishment disciple to a quasi-emperor realm expert, you had completed a transformation in a few short days that others could not achieve in 1,000 years. This is nothing short of a defiance of the heavens. At this moment, a heavily wounded elder trembled, his voice laced with suffocating terror. "Alliance Master, what are we to do now? That old monster has already self-detonated, yet who knows, perhaps he might resurrect once again." Previous encounters had left them with deep-seated psychological trauma regarding the ancestor of the Qingyun sect. The harrowing feeling of being unable to kill or eradicate him, that he only grew stronger with every defeat, filled them with absolute despair. "Resurrect?" Shangxuan barked, cutting off his subordinate with a ruthless glint in his eyes. He has already shattered himself into dust. How could he possibly return? Even if he possesses heaven-defying abilities, I have already sent word to the Demon Lord. He shall descend upon us in person before long. By then, the entirety of Tianan and perhaps even the Taihuang realm will belong to our demon race. A mere Qingyun sect can change nothing. Yet the moment his words fell, a calm voice echoed directly beside his ear. "If the Demon Lord wishes to descend, then that is for the best. It saves me the trouble of hunting you all down one by one. I am quite curious to see if this so-called Demon Lord can finally push me to reach greater heights." Upon hearing these words, every hair on Shangxuan's body stood on end. He spun around only to find you standing before him, as if you had always been there. The crushing imperial might of a peak quasi-emperor descended like a collapsing sky. The 9 elders of the Juyu underworld behind him could not even scream before their souls were pulverized by the sheer pressure. They dissolved into ash, vanishing into the void. A quasi-emperor. Xianxia collapsed to his knees with a thud, trembling like a leaf. All his former arrogance vanished, replaced by a visceral, bone-chilling terror. Senior, spare me. Please, spare me. It was the demon lord who forced me. He coerced me into colluding with the demon race to betray humanity. I am willing to submit to you, willing to help you strike down the demon lord. I beg you, grant me my life. Oh? You raised an eyebrow with cold indifference and flicked your finger, sending a Qingyun demon-suppressing seal crashing into his body. He let out a wretched shriek as the demonic seal within him was purged. His peak immortal platform cultivation shattered, leaving him a broken cripple. When you betrayed humanity, did you not consider this day? You colluded with demons to slaughter the innocent, your hands stained with the blood of our kin. Today is the day you pay the price. As your words fell, you pressed your hand downward. Under the weight of your quasi-emperor aura, Xianxia's body instantly turned to dust, leaving not a trace behind. Having dealt with Xianxia, you finally pieced together the full truth from his memories. 1,000,000 years ago, you had just transmigrated, becoming the Juxiao Genren of the Qingyun sect, relying on your reputation to suppress all of Tianan single-handedly, establishing the Qingyun sect as the preeminent power in the region. That fame was no illusion. You had inadvertently activated a system that granted you power upon defeat during the Demon Lord's first invasion of Tianan. You relied on intentionally allowing yourself to be defeated time and again, resurrecting stronger each time until you finally reached the Great Vehicle Realm to drag the Demon Lord down with you, banishing him back into the abyss of the Demon Realm, though you lost all your cultivation in the process, plummeting back to the Foundation establishment stage. That very battle taught you the harsh reality. When facing true supreme power, lacking real strength leads only to the path of the grave. Thus, you resolved to seal yourself within a forbidden realm for 1,000,000 years, waiting solely for an opponent capable of defeating you, to give you the chance to reach the pinnacle once more. Meanwhile, the Demon Lord had never abandoned his ambition to conquer Tianan. Over the past 1,000,000 years, he continuously infiltrated human sects. The Juyo underworld, the Wanhai ruins, and the Chixiao sword sect were nothing more than pawns in his grand design. Now, the 1,000,000-year mark has passed, the Demon Lord's wounds have healed, and he is about to shatter the barriers of the demon realm to descend upon Tianan. Xianxia was merely his final piece in the human realm, tasked with clearing out the righteous factions of Tianan to pave the way for his arrival. Yet, knowing all this, you felt not a flicker of fear. Instead, your blood surged with adrenaline. A demon lord at the Great Emperor realm, this would undoubtedly be the strongest adversary you had faced since your transmigration. To perish at his hands or to conquer him, the heights of power you might reach are beyond your own imagination. 3 days later, in the south of Tianan, the demonic barrier shattered. Infinite demonic energy flooded the world, swallowing the sky and veiling even the sun in eternal shadow. The demon lord stepped across a sea of blood, his great emperor aura suffocating the entire expanse of Tianan. Countless cultivators trembled under this oppressive might, and even the quasi-emperor ancestors of the great holy lands emerged from their retreats, their expressions grave as they gazed upon the gateway to the demon realm. They understood that this was the final stand for the survival of Tianan. If they were to fall, all of Tianan would be transformed into a demonic purgatory, and billions of lives would be devoured by the demon race. 1,000,000 years, I have finally returned. The demon lord's gaze swept across the world, his voice thundering throughout the lands of Tianan, until his eyes finally locked onto yours, a flicker of astonishment flashing within them. It is you, 1,000,000 years later, and you have not yet perished, yet your cultivation has fallen to such a pathetic level. How laughable. That year you only managed to drag me down with you through pure luck. Today I shall ensure you are reduced to nothing but ash and bone. You laugh boisterously, gripping the azure cloud sword as you charge toward the demon lord. Demon lord, 1,000,000 years have passed, are you still in good health? Today let this sovereign see if you are truly worthy of helping me surpass my limits. With that, you abandon all technique, trading blow for blow, completely forsaking your own defense. Your peak quasi-emperor cultivation erupts without restraint. The azure cloud sword intent tears through the heavens, colliding violently with the demon lord's abyssal flames. The demon lord is equal parts shocked and enraged. As a supreme great emperor, he finds himself being driven back by a mere quasi-emperor using such reckless, life-for-life aggression. You madman, you have been a lunatic from the very beginning. The demon lord bellows in a blind fury, his dark aura detonating as a pitch-black demon blade manifests, pulsing with the laws of destruction and slashing savagely toward you. Today I will crush your soul into nothingness, ensuring you never experience reincarnation again. The strike is as swift as a lightning bolt, its power far exceeding the boundaries of the quasi-emperor realm. You have no time to dodge, nor the intent to do so. The demon blade instantly pierces your heart, the laws of destruction spreading from the wound to consume your entire being. Your vitality bleeds away and your physical form begins to disintegrate into the demonic fire. Yet, you stare directly into the demon lord's twisted visage, letting out a roar of refreshing laughter that echoes across the entire Tianan region. Magnificent, strike harder, this sovereign is still waiting for more. This fall is rated at the X level. Reason for evaluation. Confronting a great emperor-level demon lord while possessing only quasi-emperor strength, you secured a glimmer of survival for humanity, aligning with the great Tao of heaven and earth and triggering the final reward. Your cultivation upon rebirth has ascended into the infinite. Congratulations to the host for breaking through the quasi-emperor realm, stepping into the great emperor realm, achieving perfection in the azure cloud myriad calamity art, and comprehending the great Tao of heaven and earth, granting you total dominion over life and death. You are now eternal, existing alongside the heavens, earth, sun, and moon. As a bonus, your azure cloud sect's fate is blessed to its peak, ensuring its prosperity for 10,000 years while granting you the power of heavenly Tao to purge all demonic filth from this world. As your laughter fades, your body dissolves, but the very next second, the celestial laws of all Tianan boil over. Azure clouds cascade from the 9 heavens, accompanied by a myriad of auspicious rays and endless golden light. You step slowly out from the azure clouds. Though you display no outward pressure, the entire world shifts in rhythm with your every thought. Great Emperor Realm, the smug smile on the Demon Lord's face freezes instantly, his eyes filled with overwhelming terror and disbelief. No, this is impossible. How could you possibly step into the Great Emperor Realm in this broken world? It is fundamentally impossible for anyone to reach this boundary. What kind of monster are you? Nothing is impossible. You state this calmly, pointing a single finger forward. There is no apocalyptic phenomenon, no earth-shattering roar, yet the Demon Lord who has rampaged across Tianan for 1,000,000 years, along with the demonic barriers behind him, is erased into absolute nothingness under that single point. The pervasive demonic energy suffocating the land is instantly purified by your divine power. The Tianan lands regain their purity, the demonic plague is pacified, the skies are clear, and every cultivator in Tianan kneels towards you in unison. The roar of their worship rises like a tidal wave across the horizon. We welcome our great Emperor Ancestor. Ancestor, may you protect Tianan forever. Your grace is like a second birth. You wave your hand, dismissing the kneeling crowds before turning back toward the Azure Cloud Sect. The sect, once a dilapidated ruin left with only a single disciple, is transformed. Countless geniuses vie to enter your gates, and the great sacred lands arrive one after another to offer their allegiance. The vassal sects that once betrayed you now kneel outside the mountain gates, repenting day and night, begging only for a chance to submit once more. Lin Wani has officially become the new sect master of the Azure Cloud Sect. Under your shadow, she has expertly managed the sect, disciplining the disciples and restoring the glory it held 1,000,000 years ago. Standing at the highest peak of Azure Cloud, looking down at the thriving sects below and the peaceful world of Tianan, a faint, contented smile touches your lips. The world believes you are a righteous great emperor born of destiny, the savior of humanity, and the guardian deity of the Azure Cloud Sect. But no one knows that your original goal was merely to find someone strong enough to beat you, just so you could become a little stronger. 1,000,000 years of seclusion, falling, and being reborn. Through every deliberate attempt at death, you have finally reached the pinnacle of this world. From a mere ant in the body-refining realm to a great emperor, from a figurehead of empty fame to a true guardian of humanity, you have walked a path no mortal could ever conceive. Lin Wani steps forward, bowing deeply in reverence. Ancestor, the sect has reclaimed its former glory, and all vassal sects have returned to our fold. The cultivators of Tianan have all pledged their loyalty to the Azure Cloud Sect to safeguard the peace of this land. You nod slightly, your gaze fixed on the distant horizon. Very good, but the world is vast, the cosmos infinite. Yet there is no one left who can defeat me. In your voice there is neither arrogance nor vanity, only a trace of faint regret. Your entire life was a pursuit of defeat, a quest for constant growth. But now, standing at the summit, there are no more challengers left to satisfy your desire. Lin Wani is stunned for a moment before smiling. Ancestor, though there are no more opponents, the Azure Cloud, the people of Tianan need you. Watching the sect flourish and seeing Tianan at peace, perhaps that too is a form of perfection. You turn to look at Lin Wani, a flicker of relief crossing your eyes. Indeed, perhaps this is the best ending of all. 1,000,000 years of effort did more than make you strong. It protected your sect and preserved the life of this world. Though you no longer have the drive to grow stronger, witnessing all of this is not without its own joy. From then on, you remain in the Azure Cloud Sect, occasionally venturing out to purge the remnants of the demonic race, defending Tianan's peace, and occasionally guiding the disciples of the Azure Cloud Sect, passing down your techniques and insights. Lin Wani does not disappoint. She continues to expand the Azure Cloud Sect, turning it into the premier sect of Tianan. Its reputation eventually spreads throughout the Great Desolation, and the legends of your name will be passed down across the continent until the very end of time.